Pharamond was the first legendary king of the Franks, came to power in the 4th century. The Salian Franks were a group of Germanic tribes that lived in the area that is now the Netherlands and parts of modern-day Belgium, Germany, and France. They are believed to have originated from the region of the Lower Rhine and the Meuse River in the Netherlands. They were one of 2 main branches of the Franks, the other being the Ripuarian Franks who lived further east. The Franks spoke a Germanic language called Old Franconian, or Frankish. Old Franconian, or Frankish, was similar to other Germanic languages of that period, such as Old English and Old High German. It was characterized by a strong emphasis on consonant sounds, with fewer vowel sounds than modern German. It also included many loanwords from Latin, which had been the language of administration for the Roman Empire. The Salian Franks were known for their seafaring and trading abilities, and they established settlements along the coast of the North Sea. They were also known as fierce warriors and were involved in many conflicts and battles with the Roman Empire and other tribes in the area. In the 4th century, the Salian Franks were gradually converted to Christianity by Saint Remigius. They later formed the core of the Merovingian dynasty, which ruled over the Franks and later over the greater part of the Roman province of Gaul. The Merovingian kings, such as Clovis, are considered to be the first kings of France. The Franks were known for their warrior society, and many men would have trained for battle from a young age. They were known for using a variety of weapons, including swords, spears, and shields. They were also skilled horsemen and would have used horses in battle. They were known for their fierce fighting style and often fought against the Romans and other neighboring tribes. As a tribal people, they relied heavily on close combat tactics in battle. They usually fought in tight formations. Their most common formation was the shield wall, where they would lock their shields together to form a protective wall. They would also often use flank attacks, where they would send a small group of warriors around the enemy's flank to attack from the side. The Franks were also known for their strategy of ambushes. They would set up traps and ambushes around enemy encampments, and use surprise to take down their enemies, and who frequently used psychological warfare to intimidate their enemies before a battle by chanting, singing, and shouting. The Franks also developed tactics for siege warfare, who would use battering rams to break down the walls of a castle, and would use catapults and siege towers to get over the walls. They would also sometimes tunnel underneath the walls to gain entry into the castle. Their diet would have consisted of mostly grains and vegetables, with some fruits and meats. They would have grown crops such as wheat, barley, rye, and oats, as well as fruits such as apples, pears, plums, and cherries. The Franks raised livestock such as cattle, sheep, and pigs, who were also known for hunting and fishing, which would have provided them with additional sources of protein, while also keeping bees for honey, which was used for food and medicinal purposes. Farming was the main source of livelihood for the majority of the population, while at the same time engaged in trade with neighboring tribes and cultures. The economy was primarily based on bartering, with goods such as food, textiles, and metal goods being traded. Many also engaged in metalworking and craftsmanship. The Franks were skilled farmers and used simple tools like plows, hoes, and sickles to cultivate their fields, and used crop rotation and irrigation to increase crop yields. They practiced animal husbandry and raised cattle, sheep, and pigs for meat and dairy products, while making use of the natural resources available to them, such as wild fruits, berries, and nuts. The Frankish society was patriarchal, and women had the role of running the household, raising children, and engaging in activities such as cooking, weaving, and spinning. Religion played a significant role in their daily life. Most of them followed traditional polytheistic beliefs, with gods like Tyr, Woden, and Thor. Christianity was also present, but not widely practiced. It was more common among the elite, but was growing in popularity. Overall, the daily life of the Franks in the 4th century would have been hard and challenging, with the constant threat of invasion and natural disasters. But they were a self-sufficient society that relied heavily on agriculture, and were known for their fierce warrior culture. They were a close-knit society that placed a strong emphasis on family and community. Pharamond is first mentioned in the anonymous 8th century Chronicle of Fredegar, which tells that he was the father of Clodion, who divided the Frankish kingdom among his 4 sons. He is then mentioned in the 9th century Historia Francorum, the 12th century Chronicon of Ademar de Chabans, and the 14th century Chronique du Religieux de Saint Denis. According to the Chronicle of Fredegar, Pharamond was a powerful king who defeated the Romans and the Alemanni and extended the territory of the Franks. He is said to have been the first to impose a common law on the Franks and to have introduced the practice of Salic law, which excluded women from succession to the throne. He is also credited with having introduced the custom of dividing the kingdom among the sons of the king and with having established the office of the mayor of the palace, which later became an important source of power in the Frankish kingdom. Salic law is a set of legal codes that were used by the Salian Franks in the 4th and 5th centuries. It was one of the earliest legal codes that was written in a Germanic language, making it more accessible to the common people, as Latin was a language spoken mainly by the elite. The law code dealt with issues such as inheritance, property rights, and criminal offenses. One of the most notable aspects of the Salic law is that it established clear rules for inheritance, which stipulated that land and property could only be inherited through the male line. For example, a woman could not be the sole heir of her father's land or goods, and her male siblings would have to share the inheritance with her. The Salic law regulated the rights and duties of freemen and slaves. For example, a freeman had the right to own property, engage in trade and commerce, and marry freely, while a slave couldn't. The law code also included provisions for the settlement of disputes and the administration of justice. For example, it established a system of fines and compensation for crimes and offenses, such as a fine for theft, or compensation for injuries caused by another person. This system of fines and compensation laid the foundation for the concept of monetary compensation, which is still present in modern legal systems. It also regulated the rights and duties of nobles and commoners. For example, a noble had the right to govern and administer justice within his territory, while a commoner didn't have such rights. Pharamond was born in the year 370 and to have died in 427. He is said to have been married to a woman named Argot and to have had several children, including Clodion, who later divided the Frankish kingdom among his 4 sons. Argot was said to be a beautiful and virtuous queen who supported her husband in his rule. According to medieval legends, Pharamond was a powerful king of the Franks who fought against the Romans, Visigoths, and Huns. These legends claim that Pharamond was able to unite the Franks and lead them in battles against these powerful enemies. One legend states that Pharamond defeated the Romans in a battle and gained control of the Roman province of Gaul. Another claims that Pharamond fought against the Visigoths, who were a Germanic tribe that had settled in Spain, and was able to drive them out of Gaul. They also state that Pharamond fought against the Huns, a nomadic tribe from Central Asia, who were known for their ferocity in battle. During the late 4th century, the Huns under the rule of Attila began to expand their territory and came into conflict with the Romans and their barbarian allies, including the Franks. The Franks, along with other tribes, were forced to pay tribute to the Huns to avoid being attacked. Attila led several devastating campaigns against the Romans, but he was not able to conquer them. In 451, the Huns and Franks fought a battle at the Catalonian Plains, also known as the Battle of Chalons. This was a major battle between the Huns, led by Attila, with approximately 70 to 80,000 men, and a coalition of Roman and barbarian forces, including the Franks, led by Aetius, that numbered between 70 and 200,000 men. The battle began with a Hunnic charge, which was eventually fought off by the more disciplined Roman forces. The Hunnic cavalry continued to charge in massive numbers, but could not break through the Roman lines. The battle soon turned into a stalemate, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. Aetius was able to break the stalemate by launching a surprise attack with his Visigoth and Frankish allies, who caught the Huns off guard. The attack caused the Huns to retreat, and despite reports of a Hunnic victory, the Roman forces were ultimately victorious. The battle was a major turning point in the Hunnic invasions of Europe. Attila was forced to retreat and never again reached the boundaries of the Roman Empire. After the battle, the Franks were able to establish their power and expand their territory. Thank you so much for watching my first video. I hope you can like and subscribe. Please comment how you feel I can improve on my next videos, anything you would like to see more of or less of, or topics you would like me to cover. The next video will be on the rise of the Merovingian Empire.